All right, welcome back to the Boys and Ball Pod. We got a bunch of rejects here with us. Let's go.
All right.
Got a full house today.
This is the most people we've had on the podcast ever. So, all right, jumping right into it. We will talk some college football. We had Ohio State absolutely dominate Iowa this past week, and it wasn't even close.
It was bad. It was bad. I mean, the impressive part about it was how well this defense played. You had two quarterbacks for Iowa play that combined for 81 yards on the game. 24 attempts, 81 yards. That's bad. Ohio State held Iowa to 2 yards a carry as a team. Like that's what you want to see when you're playing against a bad team here. And they dropped 54 on Iowa this week.
I mean, didn't Colorado State hold in the similar numbers?
Yeah, but the Colorado State put up 54 points.
No, you're right. They didn't. That's because their offense sucks.
They did in their hearts and minds.
Yeah, in their hearts they did.
Yeah,
I think the important thing about this is like, last week we came out with some statements saying that Ohio State's the best team in college football, and this is, I think this just goes to prove that when you're the number one team, you need to come out and dog the rest of the bad team.
Number one team, yeah.
But I mean, Georgia's not doing it.
Should be the number one team.
But that's what I think that's a very important takeaway for this is Ohio State's coming in and doing what they need to do and showing that they are absolute dogs when it comes to, and not sneaking out close games against unranked teams.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like Ohio State has the best quarterback in college football right now. CJ Stroud, 28 passing touchdowns through the year. Like there's no one playing at the same level as him. You could throw Hendon Hooker maybe into that conversation, but his stats don't compare to Stroud's at all. It's going to be a big test this week against Penn State, but I expect Stroud and these Buckeyes to beat down Penn State.
Yeah, so I know we got a lot of Penn State fans here. So Jesse, I think Jesse.
We're Penn State, and I'm here to make uneducated statements. All right. So Penn State. Sean Clifford's going to get hurt. He's going to roll his ankle because you guys play dirty. And then Drew Allar's going to come in and throw like 75 touchdowns, and we're going to win 6,900-0. And you're going to lose.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
So your entire game plan is relying on Sean Clifford to get hurt.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Okay.
Yes,
it does sound like a good game plan.
Bro, all we're gonna say is once Drew Aller comes into play, bro, Ohio State is nothing.
No.
Hey, do we want to poll everybody and get their pick for the game? Yeah, sure. And score prediction.
All right,
sure. Why not?
We're gonna start the way it works. Looks on my screen with JT.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to put this out there for you guys too. Ohio State is given a spread of 15.5. I think they're gonna beat that spread. I'm thinking this is gonna be a 24-point win.
Has also barely beat Notre Dame.
I mean, first game of the year. We haven't
still
had a close
barely
game
beat
since.
Notre Dame. If you guys are the number one ranked team in the fucking in the country, you guys should fuck up Notre Dame.
Notre Dame was ranked 5.
Georgia should have fucked up Missouri. What's your point?
So just saying. All right, no, we're talking to Ohio State, Penn State. So JT,
I think I'm gonna go somewhere with like a maybe like a 31-14, 35-14 game.
All right. I'm gonna take Ohio State, and I'm gonna take 42-21.
Fucking traitor.
It's just
It's even when it's your team, you got to be biased and say we got a shot, bro. You got to be biased.
All right, Hunter.
Me, I want to go with Penn State. I really do. Now I'm gonna go with a little curveball here. If Sean Clifford gets hurt, and Drew, hold on. If Sean Clifford gets hurt, like Jesse said, and Drew Allar comes in, we beat Ohio State. As a freshman coming in the second quarter, we beat Ohio State. But if Sean Clifford plays, we get blown out.
Well, unfortunately, we don't take maybes, so I need to know who you taking, Penn State or Ohio State.
I'm going to take Ohio State if Clifford plays. I'm going to take Penn State
if
Clifford plays.
Okay,
Bailey.
all right, there you go.
We got
So
Ohio
I'm
State.
going to give my obnoxious answer first. I'm going to take Penn State 28-24. Logistically, I'm going on a feeling from history. We played this matchup since 1912. So we played this matchup since 1912, and a certain score has reciprocated 6 times, and is the only score to do that. 33-24 in favor of Ohio State. That they finished that score 6 times. I'm going to take it again, somewhere in that ballpark. Something similar to what JT said with that 31-7 for 17 or 14. He said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Boosie.
Mr. Boosie's expert pick.
Let's see. Ohio State fan. I wonder who he's going to pick.
Yeah, I am gonna go with Ohio State here, and I think they're gonna win by 3 possessions.
I thought you were going to take both teams to have fun. That's what I thought.
All right.
The score's
Fuck
always
that.
fun to fun, man. Didn't we learn that in high school?
There's
I'm gonna-
only one team that's gonna have
I'm gonna
fun
guess
this weekend.
I'm gonna guess a tie, and it'll be 27-27. No, just kidding.
All
No,
right,
I'm gonna take Ohio State by 3 scores.
Okay, Jesse.
Yeah, just so we don't get put on meme alert here. All right, we're not ESPN. All right, I'm gonna take Penn State, and the reason I'm gonna take Penn State is because Nick Singleton is gonna dog that defense. This bro is a certified baller, and we got Katron Allen behind him, who's also kind of good. He's getting overshadowed by Nick Singleton, but hear me out.
JT, do you hear
You
this
guys
shit?
always play down to us. You always, no matter how good you are, you play down in Penn State. You always do.
Now, forgive me. Is it in Ohio? Is it in
It's
Ohio?
at Penn State.
It's
at Penn
in
State?
Happy Valley.
Ooh,
It's
okay.
at Penn State. It's
All
not
right,
a
It's not a
all right,
whiteout
that-
game, but it's not
We
a
were
That,
whiteout
scared.
game.
that changes a lot, man.
I
Nah.
think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game because I think you guys will be able to gash our run defense all day. But then we'll just take shots over your secondary. So I'm gonna go with 38-30 Penn State.
Okay. All right.
Well-
So Bailey, I know you've been hot on this team, and you really wanted this upset to happen this week. We want to talk Syracuse Clemson, and in your
Close.
pick'ems, you wanted Syracuse to win so bad. What happened? What happened to that game, boss?
Yeah, what happened,
I think it
Bailey?
came down to in the last 2 drives, you saw that QB started to lose it. All game, he looked calm and composed. And there's a term in football called happy feet. Mitch Trubisky. I'm sorry. QBs, when they're a little nervous in the pocket, their feet tend to dance a little bit too hard, and that's what happened to him. And his receiver, he started making really bad throws towards the end, and that interception sealed it. It was that triple coverage basically that he threw into it with a minute left, or not even like 45 seconds left going down the field. I just think he lost it, and I think it kind of shows where recruiting goes in terms of efficiency, in terms of recruiting. Is some people have it, some people don't. I still don't. I'm still gonna say I would not take Clemson into the college football playoffs. I really wouldn't.
I'm still in the boat with you here, Bailey. We both picked Syracuse last week. This Clemson team has not looked good. They had to bench DJ Uiagalelei to be able to come back.
I think
He's projected to be the starter for this week. This is a Clemson team that's likely to go undefeated because of how bad the ACC is, and they're going to get stomped in the college
they're
football
going to
playoff.
miss the playoffs just simply because the other teams like Georgia, Bama, Michigan, OSU, they have tougher schedules. The ACC is softer than a pillow. I think basically those teams I just listed, and maybe even some like Oregon, that's my sleeper pick right now. I think they just need to outlast Clemson. I really don't know how the pollers could consistently put Clemson in the top 10 and 5 when they are going to triple, quadruple OTs with unranked teams.
Because they're winning, and in the
And
end,
that's
as
what
long as
sucks. I know it sucks about it.
Clemson keeps winning, no matter how bad they look, it'll just be Florida State. In 2014, Florida State made the playoff. They were undefeated, but that team was barely beating every team in the ACC. They get to the playoff, they play Oregon, and they get stomped by Oregon. It's going to be the same thing. Clemson's, if they go undefeated, is going to make the playoff. No matter how bad they've looked, no matter
And they'll get
how many really good one-loss teams are there, they're going to make the playoff over them.
And I don't think DJ's that good. If you look at most of his touchdown passes, his receivers, his tight end, they make him look really good. They're making Moss's double coverage in the end zone passes, but they make him look good.
Oh, most definitely. So, another game we want to talk about is we want to talk about TCU versus Kansas State.
Let's go Frogs.
And
Let's go Frogs.
We're all kind of high on TCU being a top pick this year, but coming out of that first half, they were struggling. Kansas State had was up 28-17 against them, but the TCU defense turned around, shut out Kansas State in that second half and was able to let the Horned Frogs come away with the victory.
I think the biggest part to that game and why TCU was able to take over was Adrian Martinez got hurt. He didn't play in the second half. And
Yeah.
that was kind of the deciding factor. Once Adrian Martinez got hurt, the Nebraska transfer, we've seen him in the Big Ten for multiple years. He's a good runner. He was playing very well with Kansas State. He got hurt, missed the second half. His team was doing well.
He
And
only
the
threw
second
2
he
passes.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
second
so
he got hurt,
early.
that
Yeah.
offense started to slow down. They focused on the run game, and TCU was able to come back and march that, to that. I think they won by 10.
Yeah,
It's 38-28.
pick.
I still think
TCU
Kansas
is
State's
my
going to be
sleeper.
a good battle for TCU. Is they have Deuce Vaughn, who is
Oh,
a hell of a running back.
The
No,
5'6" demon.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, we really liked, we like Kansas State, but
Tony Pollard of college football.
obviously without the the veteran help from Adrian
Appreciate that,
Martinez,
Bailey.
it's it's kind of hard to win games without your starting QB, especially when it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, we
And
know
of
that here
course-
at Penn State.
And especially when you're playing a high-powered offense, like this TCU team is putting up points and yards. And when your starting quarterback gets hurt and you need that veteran leadership, especially in the fourth quarter, when he goes down and you're playing against a high-powered offense, you're probably going to lose that game.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
All right.
Probably is the big key word there.
Well, and they did. So one of the, we talked already about the Ohio State Penn State game. The next game I want to talk about is Kentucky is traveling to Tennessee this week. Will Levis is
No.
back. They got back on track last week with the win. Levis is healthy. This is a rivalry game. Is Kentucky going to be able to upset Tennessee here?
Nah, no,
Does Tennessee
way.
overlook Kentucky?
no.
No
you gotta
way.
think-
I don't think they overlook them.
Tennessee plays Georgia next week. Are they overlooking Kentucky thinking about that Georgia
So
team?
bad.
1 week at a time. I don't know.
I think they are looking at Georgia. but
JT, I could see where you're coming from in them overlooking. I just don't see it though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think-
I expect Tennessee to win. Don't get me wrong, but this is one of those games when you look at the schedule,
Trap game.
it's a trap game
Trap
because
game, yep.
you start mentally preparing yourself for that big game, the 1 versus 3,
Yeah.
and you end up taking your focus off of Kentucky. And everyone says it's a week by week thing, but we all know that's not how it ends up playing out. And it happens all the time. The team
I'll say this right now: Tennessee will beat Kentucky, but it'll be close.
I think
By
it'll be a
s-
close
by
game. I
by
agree with
se-
that.
by seven or less points.
Nah. They
that
blow 'em
team is
out.
riding some big dick energy right now. And Jalen Hyatt, God, man's Randy Moss right now. Will that?
Yeah,
production
you know who else they're
sustain? I
getting
don't
back this
think so.
week? They're getting Tillman back this week. Bro had 1,000
Will-
yards last year.
Will Levis,
man.
can we stop hyping this man up, please?
He's bad. That's why we
For
chose
the
Clifford
love
over
of
him.
God, the past
Literally, he's not good.
the past 2 years, they're trying to put him in the same conversation as CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, like in the top 5 QBs of this draft class. I
Top 3,
personally don't
actually.
think he's top 5.
Dude, they're projecting them to be a 3rd round pick.
You mean
I don't
third
think
overall?
I do not think he's that good.
He's not good.
I think Levis, with the offense that he has run so far and the production he has had, he's kind of like Mac Jones. A team is going to pick him up because he's been in the pro style offense.
Yeah.
He's going to be the most NFL ready, other than like Stroud and Young, out of all those other quarterbacks. You're going to see a team that
He's a
needs
pocket passer.
kind of like a team like the Colts or something that need a quarterback, but
Mhm.
want to be able to plug and play somebody. They're gonna reach. They're gonna bring Will Levis in early. I think he's gonna struggle his first year or two in the league, but I do think he can have a good NFL career.
I just think he is the product of college hype. And they did the same thing when unranked Washington, I believe they beat Kentucky. I might be missing who they beat, but they beat an unranked opponent a couple weeks ago, more than a couple weeks ago, like 4 or 5, 6 weeks ago. And I believe that their quarterback is Michael Penix Jr. And they started to hype that Washington offense. This offense, because they had like 700 yards that game. They put up a performance. And they hyped up, this Michael Penix Jr. Are they going to sneak into the top 10? Are they going to sneak into the top? Where's Washington now?
Well,
Unranked and losing right now.
Penix has done that his whole career. You got to think back to the COVID year. He was a starting quarterback for Indiana.
Shut
The
up.
year they started out, they beat Penn State. Had a really
Shut
good
up.
run.
Shut up.
He was a quarterback that for a couple games a year he puts up insane stats, but then he has the other half of the year where he's bad. He loses games for his team.
Sounds
So
like He's
He's
pretty
had that career.
He's Russell
dangerous.
Wilson.
He's
He's
dangerous.
Russell Wilson. Been saying that for years
Hopefully, he
about
doesn't
him.
get a sandwich named after him.
I'll name a
That would be
sandwich after you,
rough, man.
Bailey.
All right. The next game I want to move on to, number 9 Oklahoma State. They have statistically, I believe, the best defense in college football. They're going up against Kansas State. Adrian Martinez is supposed to play. So this is another ranked matchup. Does Oklahoma State get stunned on the road at Kansas State
Yes.
this week?
Yes.
Why? You know, they just struggled to.
I do not trust their offense. I'm sorry, but I
Oklahoma
don't.
State.
Oklahoma State.
JT, I'm gonna hop on your dick just a little bit here. I don't trust that offense. I'm right, but I'm proved wrong again week in week about that defense. Oregon State's defense is legit.
Oklahoma
That defense is disgusting, but if you don't have an offense to put up points and your defense is constantly on the field,
Obviously, you haven't watched the Steelers for the past like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, OK State's putting up 36 a game, except for week 1. They put up 34.
They're scoring, but
they're scoring a lot.
I think it's a lot of it's coming off of that defense. The defense has given the offense good field position. It's given that offense really good chances to get easy points.
yeah.
I think Oklahoma State wins this game. Kansas State has struggled at times. I think they're going to struggle with this Oklahoma State defense, but I do think it's going to be a close game. And in Big 12 fashion, it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be a 38-28, 35-42 game.
All right, JT. So the college football playoff rankings come up, next week. We're gonna do a little preemptive college football rankings 1 through 6. Why don't you lead us off in this?
Okay, so at my number 1 spot, I got Ohio State. Best quarterback in the country, deep on offense, and the defense is playing lights out. Number 2, I'm going to put Georgia. I think their defense is looking good, but they've struggled at times, so that's why I got them behind Ohio State. Number 3, I'm going to have Tennessee. Upset Alabama. Offense looks potent. Number 4, I'm going to have Michigan. I think, with the way Michigan's played, the big blowout win against Penn State, they deserve to be there. Number 5, I'm going to have Alabama. And I just, you have to have them behind the other guys. They have 1 loss. And then actually at number 6, I don't have Clemson in my top 6. I'm putting TCU in there.
All right.
JT, who'd you put at 4 and 5?
I got Michigan at 4 and Bama at 5.
Okay. So going into my top 6, I have Ohio State number 1. I think they're the best team in college football right now. Then you have Georgia at number 2. I think they're going to win out in the SEC, so they're going to come out above Tennessee, which I have at number 3. And then number 4, I still think I like my Big Ten schools, so I got Michigan. At 5, I have TCU at 5 because I think they're gonna in the Big 12 they're not gonna lose, and so that'll put them just above Alabama, who has the 1 loss on their record. Maybe they lose again in the SEC championship. So I have Alabama at 6. All right, Hunter.
You ready for this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, ready for this dumb shit.
I got number one Georgia.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Sorry, that team's just too good.
Let the kids go.
Sorry, I got 2 Ohio State.
All right.
Okay. 3, Bailey's gonna appreciate this. I got Michigan. I have Michigan at 3. At 4, I have Clemson.
So you don't have Tennessee in your top 4?
I have Tennessee at 5.
Okay.
I have Tennessee at 5, and then I have TCU at 6. I think
Okay.
Bama will be 7. I don't think they'll make the top 6.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Rolich.
Going Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Tennessee, Bama, and then who I got sneaking in, and this is my sleeper pick because their offense just looks amazing right now. Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks.
All right. Mr.
Okay.
Boosie.
Okay. All right, Bailey. I like the confidence.
All right, Mr. Boosie. Who you got?
All right, I got some weird picks here. All right, so I got Ohio State number 1. Obviously, I think Bama's going to sneak back into that number 2 slot. I think they're going to jump over Michigan. I think Michigan's going to drop the game to Ohio State, and it's going to put them below. Alabama. I think Georgia's going to fall out of the top 6. There's another wild take for you boys. But at number 4, I do have TCU. I've got OK State at number 5, and I've got USC sneaking into my top 6.
All right. Interesting.
Okay.
It's wild. It's different. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I like the USC pick.
Although,
I like the
Mr.
USC pick.
Mr. Boosie, this was for this week right now, not for the future. I like the confidence. I think you might be right at the end of the year, but it's a wild take for this week. Wild
Yeah.
takes.
I'm well aware it's wild for this week.
That
but
is a
I
crazy take. That is a crazy take.
USC accidentally beats Georgia somehow.
yeah, see, like, then it's like,
Show up to the wrong stadium.
All right, Jesse.
All right. So I'm gonna start off number 1. I got Tennessee. No, I got Tennessee. They have the only in my top 6, the only team that has a win over a top 5 team as of right now.
Hey Bailey, I got a
Alright.
question
It's
for
just
you.
the strength of the schedule is too
Let me
much.
finish.
Yeah, strength of schedule is just too good. Number 2, I got Ohio State because my only argument there is who have they played? They do look good. Statistically, they're one of the best teams in college football, but they don't have any top 5 wins like Tennessee does. Number 3, I'm gonna put Michigan because they are a juggernaut run game, and you know what wins games? Running out that clock. All right, you have more time possession, you're probably gonna win. I know in some cases that doesn't happen, but that does win. Number 4, I got Georgia. I only have Georgia in here just because their defense is really good. And again, just like that run game, that defense wins you those natties. Just like last year with Big Jordan Davis and Trayvon Walker and all those guys who went in the first round of the NFL draft. They got that natty. Number 5, I got Alabama because you can't count Nick Saban out. There have been many years where he's taken an L and then he bounces back, hits the playoffs, wins a national championship with a dog shit roster. I can't count out Nick Saban. He's the GOAT.
That is true. You can't count him out.
Number 6, I got Oregon because they're looking hot right now. And Bo Nix is playing really well. And it's starting to make me think Bo Nix wasn't the problem, and it was Auburn. Because look at what Auburn's doing right now. They're a shitstorm. They can't move the ball.
Auburn's always been absolute hot.
Yeah, but with Bo Nix, they were somewhat competitive.
I'll give you credit with this Bo Nix pick because at the start of the year, he did not look good. Threw some picks, got dominated by Georgia. It looked like same old Bo Nix, but he seems to have really found his groove in this offense.
Yeah,
they
17
put
touchdowns,
put
1,800
up
yards.
a ton of points. Yeah,
he's doing well.
I think
Bo Nix has looked nice, man. And it's kind of scary because if Oregon can be that sleeper that no one is anticipating to make a run, it's gonna change college football.
They won't make playoffs because they have a loss, and I have a feeling the top 4 won't take any L's.
I think the other big issue. The other big issue is they're gonna have to see USC at some point. So it's not going to be in the regular season, but probably the Pac-12 championship game. They still have to play Utah. So the only really good game Oregon has left to play is Utah. They can easily go undefeated the rest of the year, but they're going to have to dominate USC or UCLA, whichever one of them makes the.
They already dominated UCLA once, so they might be able to do it again.
I think they'd shit on USC.
They cock slapped them. So
I'm with Bailey. I think they'd shit on USC.
I'm not discrediting
the way they're playing right now and the way Bo Nix is playing right now. Their defense could let up 50 fucking points. And liability is that
defense. That's USC's downfalls of defense.
Yeah.
You had a question for Bailey.
Oh no, I was gonna ask Bailey what the Vegas betting odds were for Jesse saying anybody but Ohio State first.
But I think you got that at -900.
It's not hating on Ohio State, but who have you guys played? You've played nobody. Tennessee just fucking beat Alabama.
Hey, and technically we do have a top 5 win, so go fuck yourself.
Oh, yes. My bad.
Yeah,
I forgot.
So you said that shit? Yeah.
I
have a top 5 win, you
Dame
dumb
was
son of a
ranked
bitch.
He put that in his pocket. He put that in his pocket.
We held on to that one, yeah.
JJ's out there collecting receipts.
You got me there. But you know what? As of right now, Alabama is still a top 6 team. Tennessee is the best strength of schedule.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with that, but you said Tennessee was the only one that had a top 5.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Notre Dame has fallen off the cliff so hard, I forgot they were ranked 5. It was like Florida State. What was it? 2017. They had 3 top 25 players. They were ranked number 3, and they went what?
I will be completely honest.
10?
I never understood why Notre Dame was ranked that high at the beginning of the season.
I didn't either, but I was going to take that top 5 win at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Never understood it.
Free top
I
5
will-
win, bro.
we're gonna make a big jump to the NFL.
Already
So-
bet.
Ohio State's gonna now enter the AFC North.
At this rate, with how hurt that division is, they might have a fucking shot.
Downgrade the Steelers. and put
I
Ohio State.
fuck with some college football, but the NFL is my place.
Okay, so the
It's
first
Evan's
thing
place.
we're gonna jump into
You don't
is
know
the
anything. You're a
trade
Cowboys
deadline
fan.
trades. All right, so the first one we're gonna talk about the CMC trade to the 49ers. Bailey, I feel like you got
Bad
some
move.
good takes on this. I mean, the Panthers got a second, third, fourth, and a fifth for next year.
Oh, it was good for the Panthers. It was bad for the
It was
49ers.
extremely good for the Panthers. Extremely awful for anybody who has CMC in any fantasy option. Horrible for anybody betting on the 49ers volume and Jeff Wilson owners, Eli Mitchell owners. RIP.
Rest in peace, Dan.
Rest in peace.
Jeff-
Christian McCaffrey's volume was 61%. So, I mean, 61% of the time, he was either at least targeted or he touched the ball in Carolina's offense. And that's what made him so good as a fantasy option, was pure volume. 22
Fuck yeah,
carries
bro.
and 6 catches.
All right, let's talk about Mr. Boosie. Your second team is the Cardinals. They brought in Robbie Anderson for nothing. How much does that help that wide receiver room?
Man, I love Robbie Anderson, man. I gotta be
Everyone
honest.
does.
Like,
He's a diva. I'm sorry, but he's a diva.
yeah, but so's Odell Beckham Jr., but we still love that man too, all right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
And you still, for some reason out there, you'll still find a couple Antonio Brown fans.
That's true.
Not after
yeah.
that
I
Dubai
just don't think
incident.
that Robbie Anderson trade made
Yeah,
sense.
literally.
I mean,
I don't know. As soon as DeAndre Hopkins was inserted back
Yeah,
to that lineup, that offense was looking way
he's
better.
irrelevant. It did no. I'm not. That offense looked a lot better, but I'm saying it's still Robbie Anderson was irrelevant in that offensive scheme.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray overthrew him once, and I didn't see Robbie Anderson the rest of the game.
Well, now see, the thing is that like having the deep threat capability with Robbie Anderson and having Marquise Brown, like you have to respect both of those guys' speed. If you let them just get naked behind your defense, they're gonna score touchdowns. Kyler Murray,
Rondell
can
Moore's
save-
fast too.
Yeah,
Also,
Rondell Moore
James
also.
Conner-
So I have a question for you guys. Do you think the reason the Panthers are trading away most of their players are because of Matt Rule? Right? Like, do you think it was because of their coach?
No,
No,
they're
they're
going
hitting-
to
they're
full
hitting the
rebuild.
reset.
And the fact
They're
that
hitting the
he
reset.
finally
Full rebuild.
and the
Full
fact that
reset.
he finally got canned in an interim head coach came in, they were like, okay, we're in a full rebuild now.
They're getting as many picks as they possibly can to rebuild with the next regime. It's
Yep.
they're starting
Peyton.
they already committed to starting PJ Walker for the rest of the year, which is another thing. While we're on the Panthers, we might as well talk about it. PJ Walker is confirmed starter even if Baker Mayfield comes back.
Same
I
as
love
Sam
PJ
Darnold.
Walker.
I like PJ Walker too. He should have been the starter the whole time.
I'm a sucker for a good story, and I love the whole XFL upbringing.
As much as I love Baker
Look
Mayfield
good.
and his swagger, man.
He looked good last week too.
I mean,
PJ.
Dan, what's your take
Walker
on PJ
did look
Walker?
good, yeah.
He won the first game with the Bucks.
I
He
mean,
reversed the Bucks.
it's what you like to see though. It's like, when you're a role player, you're a bench player, you don't expect to get much playing time, right? But whenever you get the call that says, "Hey, you're going in, you're playing," you want to see that player come in and play well. We could have ourselves a little like Case Keenum situation where, PJ Walker comes off the bench and just plays electric the rest of the season, which I mean would suck for the Panthers because they want to get those good picks. But it's nice to see that, maybe PJ Walker still got some stuff left in the tank. And maybe
So I'm curious.
don't have to take a pick, don't have to take a QB early and can save it on some maybe of those, a little bit better weapons and save.
So I'm curious because that same scenario happened with Dak Prescott when Tony Romo went down in 2016. But but Dak Prescott does not get love. Like PJ, he didn't get love back in 2016.
It's
when he was
different-
rookie.
It's not the
It's not
same.
the same. The Cowboys roster was actually decent, where
Yeah,
this Panthers roster is not
Yeah.
good. So
Dak
for the fact that
Prescott
he was able to
also-
come in and win with a bad roster is way more impressive and earns you more
When
love.
was
than-
PJ Walker drafted?
He
He
wasn't
wasn't
drafted.
He wasn't
He wasn't
drafted.
drafted. He
He
was
was,
on.
Makes
He
it
was.
different.
he was an
That's-
XFL
Was he
transfer.
undrafted? Okay.
Yeah,
XFL.
he came out of Temple and played in the XFL, and I think he might have played Canadian football first.
No. He played.
I think he was on an
He got
NFL
signed
roster.
he got signed by the Colts. We're with the Colts for 2 years, on and off the off season / practice
Okay.
squad.
Okay.
Then he played for the Houston Roughnecks for 1 year during the XFL.
7 weeks.
Whenever
It's
whenever that
COVID. COVID.
whenever that got canned, the Carolina Panthers was, okay, we have no quarterback. We don't know what's going on. And they signed PJ Walker to come in and play the backup.
I love that
games.
PJ Walker is playing great, but it was what, 1 week?
He plays well almost every time he starts.
Yeah, I mean, he started a couple. Yeah, had a couple starts last year and played well too.
Yeah.
He seems to be a kid that like he's not big. He's only like 5'11", 6 foot, but he's quick. He makes the right reads.
Criminally underrated.
Yeah.
I wish he'd use his legs a little bit more when you watch him.
Yeah.
When he does run, he's very fast and agile.
I've got a question for you boys. Can we hop back over to the Cardinals for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of what happened with JJ Watt?
With his heart fibrillation.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think about what happened with JJ Watt?
If he's medically cleared, that's his decision to play.
I don't think he should, but it's like what they say. It's
I
his
don't think he
decision.
should, but if it's his decision and in the medical, but then again, we can't trust the medical staff because of what happened with Tua. But if that is JJ Watt's decision to play,
I feel like if one franchise does it, you can't be like Arizona.
I think I would rather trust someone with a medical degree and decades of experience than someone in Cleveland, Ohio named Hunter Gerhold, in my opinion.
Let's just throw the Chargers under the bus real quick.
No, that's a Tyrod Taylor curse. That is a higher power declaring that there's a better QB behind him. That's the Tyrod.
Okay. What happened with Baker then? That's off topic. Never mind.
Baker, I don't know, man.
Back to the Cardinals. No, he should just stop playing football. I mean, that's a scary moment, and you can really reflect on that. And what if it happens again while he's on the field?
Well, yeah, he actually has a daughter on the way.
Yeah,
she's born now.
He's a father.
She got born yesterday.
Yeah. Well, he's a father now, so like he doesn't.
He's got to think about that.
Yeah. I mean, he might not be. He's still one of those all-time great kind of players at his position. He's still very, very good. He didn't win any championships. He got a lot of individual accolades, but I mean, JJ Watt's definitely a Hall of Famer.
He's got to get out with his family, unlike Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's wild.
But
Let's jump to another one of Mr. Boosie's teams. A trade that happened today.
Yes.
Tony got dealt for a compensatory 3rd-round pick and a 6th-round pick.
I love this. Okay, so I have actually I've been reading a lot of articles lately, all right, and this actually involves an intertrading in the NFC East. So apparently the Giants have been listening to phone calls from the Dallas Cowboys about them acquiring Kenny Golladay, but us eating a good portion of his salary still.
That's hot.
That's hot
I'm
for
sorry.
the Giants.
I didn't hear shit about that. I'm sorry, Mr.
If
Boosie.
you guys could anyway deal Kenny Golladay to the Cowboys,
That's
It's
a dub.
highway robbery.
I'm sorry, Mr. Boosie. I'm sorry. I love you, dude. But like, you're talking to the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, who is a cheap fuck.
Yeah.
Dak.
If that,
Did you not hear what I just said?
What you hear,
It was
what
speculation.
you heard, that's probably a lie.
It was
He would never-
speculation.
No, it was
he's a cheap fuck, but he paid what, $200 million for what, 3 games in 2 seasons?
Yeah.
No,
but
we were gonna
talking
eat a
about-
large part. We were gonna eat like the whole contract and just like pretty much trade into Dallas for something compensatory. Like we were gonna
Cheap fuck,
keep his
we
money
paid
on our
Zeke
books.
all that
Oh,
money?
okay.
Yes, so like we would have taken
Where
it.
where did you hear that? I didn't hear that.
Speculation.
I read about it in a couple of ESPN updates, a couple of Google updates
okay.
that came through my phone, and also Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp talked about it.
The only thing that I heard that the Cowboys who the Cowboys were interested in was Brandon Cooks and DJ Moore.
Well, there's a lot of talks here. I don't think DJ Moore's going to get traded,
As
but
much as he wants to.
while we're in the conversation with the NFC East, another team in the NFC East made a trade. Robert Quinn was acquired for a 4th-round pick.
Bro, put that Eagles GM in fucking prison.
Oh,
He is
man.
doing something illegal.
Yep,
And
literally.
they still have 2 first-round picks.
Howie
Roseman-
Howie is
Howie
doing
Roseman
fucking
is a
illegal
demon.
shit, dude.
He's
Best GM in the league.
Yeah. Someone grab him and throw him into jail.
Who gets answering the phone? Like who just sees Howie Roseman and goes, "Yeah, this is gonna be a good conversation." Hello? Like
No,
what?
it's
Like
not. It's never a
like,
good call.
after you stole CJ
And Mr. Boosie,
Gardner
Mr.
Johnson,
Boosie.
like you should have stopped answering the phone there.
The funny thing is, as I want your opinion as a Giants fan. So we lost in Philly, right? Because the Cowboys always lose in Philly. We are not good in Philly.
Sure.
They're making all these moves, but I guarantee you we will beat them in Dallas. We
All right,
always
check
beat
my
them in
camera
Dallas.
real quick.
We always beat them in the Dallas. So Mr. Boosie, what do you think?
Can we stay on topic
We always split. We always split with Philly, and we always suck in Philly. But I personally believe we will beat Philly in Dallas. What do you think?
I got to be honest. I think you guys were a better football team when Cooper Rush was starting quarterback for you. I think Dak Prescott is way more likely to lose you that game against Philly than Cooper Rush is to win you that game against Philly.
Okay. So talking about the Robert Quinn trade, though, now as we were talking about, I know a lot of us, definitely had the Eagles going deep in the playoffs. Do you think like the acquisition of Robert Quinn really helps them solidify that D line, get some extra pressure, and might make them more likely to make the Super Bowl instead of just being like a divisional round or a conference?
Well, I think the answer, like Jesse said, the answer is yes. You see, he is productive in the sack category, but also it's the leadership that he brings to a team. When Roquan Smith found out that he got traded, he was crying. So like you see what kind of a leader and what kind of guy that is. When you get a guy like that in the locker room and you can get him for pretty cheap like they did, it just makes that roster better.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are unquestionably the best team.
Oh, and absolutely. But what I was thinking about is you have two absolute team leaders on both sides of the football now. You got Jason Kelce playing center, absolute leader on the field. Now you have Robert Quinn on that defensive side. All you're going to see is the morale on both sides of the football just continue to go up because those two are going to feed off each other and just they're going to lock this team together. And they're
not even that. You got Jalen Hurts like playing out of his fucking mind right now. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert.
AJ Brown, rest in peace.
Underrated as shit right now. He's not getting the credit he deserves.
Yeah, I know. I trade raped you for him.
Yeah. We want to talk about.
I'm a fucking Cowboys fan, dude, and I'm jealous of the Eagles.
Oh, absolutely. Most people are. But we're going to talk about another player who was underappreciated, undervalued in Jacksonville.
And Dak Prescott.
No, the Jets stole him.
James Robinson, baby.
Exactly. They traded.
Yeah.
The Jets were able to just give him a 6th-round pick to Jacksonville for James Robinson.
That's the biggest robbery. That's the biggest robbery of all these trades.
This man was undrafted, and rushed for 1,278 yards, and then caught for almost nearly another 400. Undrafted.
He's a better Philip Lindsay.
He did it behind the Jets.
Okay. Can we talk about Philip Lindsay real quick? How in his first 2 years he was going to be like this next like starter for Denver, and then he just fucking like no one gave him a fucking shot. Because Jesse, I was gonna bring up Philip Lindsay because Bailey just said he rushed for fucking 1,200 yards, 400 receiving yards, all this other shit.
It was James Robinson.
Yeah, but like
it's the same concept though.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like Philip Lindsay is now this supposedly like third string running back who can't run the ball.
No, he can. They just don't want to give him a shot because he's undrafted.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's same thing with James Robinson. There's no reason his production should have been that bad last year.
Yeah.
There's no reason after 3 weeks. It's probably because I picked him up in fantasy. I picked him up in fantasy, and they gave up on him immediately.
Urban Meyer was given a
they'd rather have Travis Etienne, who is fucking drafted, rather than
overrated as fuck.
Yep. Urban Meyer was given a folder with one underlined thing: give the ball to James Robinson.
Yes, and they didn't do it.
He threw it away.
Stop giving the ball after 3 weeks, and then they trade him. And honestly, thank God, because James Robinson is actually going to get used. Yeah. He'll probably put up big boy numbers like Breece Hall was in Jacksonville, and then he's going to get a fat contract somewhere else. You think for the first week, though,
that Michael Carter does get a little bit of a look just until they see that James
Michael Carter will get the most production the first 2 weeks. Because he's been in the system, and then James Robinson's going to get.
I don't know. Running back's a little bit easier.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wide receiver
I wouldn't be surprised. Keep this in mind. I wouldn't be surprised. The trade of James Robinson to the Jets. I wouldn't be surprised if J-Rob doesn't fit in that system and Michael Carter thrives. And then everyone practically forgets about J-Rob and how good of a fucking running back he is. It has happened. It has happened. It has happened previously with running backs who have gotten traded and haven't gotten a fair share because they've been given 2 weeks to learn their system against running backs or wide receivers or whatever who has been in that system for years. And they haven't been given a fair
His
share.
age and his production efficiency is always going to be appealing to teams in the next
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
He's a
He'll find
receiving back. That's
Yeah,
appealing to
and
everyone.
he's actually like legitimately productive on like bad rosters
efficient.
where, I mean, when you talk about like Philip Lindsay, his production started to fall off. Yeah, he wasn't fumbling the ball, but he was not like when he got let go from the Broncos, he was not the same running back as he was that first year.
You're not wrong, but he's still criminally underrated.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely has a good role as like a number 2.
We talk about criminally underrated. I'm sorry, Dan, but fucking Naheem Hines.
He's trash.
No
he's
way,
a good,
dude.
He's a good returner. He's good getting out wide.
He's a
but...
fantastic
My
receiving
hands
back.
raised teacher.
As a running back, he's trash.
All right,
My hands-
Jesse.
Man, as an avid college football watcher, because I'm a Titans fan, I love watching the Colts fucking lose and watch them not use Jonathan Taylor, especially against Tennessee. Frank Reich, goated for that. I love him. Keep him as the coach for the next 20 years. But Naheem Hines, they use him as a screen receiver. And if you can use your brain and watch some film, you go, Naheem Hines is on the field. Where's the screen? And you stop that and he does nothing.
That's all.
Yeah.
Naheem's is a fantastic receiving back. But he's
Yes,
not great,
in this,
not
but they
a
only
great running
they don't
back.
use him right. Frank Reich does not know how to use his weapons. They don't use Naheem Hines right, which is why I don't like Naheem Hines on the Colts. I don't like Jonathan Taylor on the Colts.
They don't
The
use
Colts,
Paris Campbell at all. Up until this past 2 weeks, Paris
Campbell. It's because he's
What
got
about-
glass bones, bro.
Well,
He's one of the
Let's-
most deadly.
My
slowest-
pussy.
Let's hop off the Colts. Let's hop off the
All right.
teams that are struggling right now. One of the players I want to talk about here from your team, Mr. Boosie, Daniel Jones had a massive game last week.
Danny
Yes,
Quarters.
he did.
On the ground.
Over 200 passing yards and over 100 rushing yards. He actually now holds the rushing record for quarterback in franchise history at 107 yards from last game.
That's legit.
I think one of the important things when you see Daniel Jones is in the very last play of the game, that kid put his body on the line and blew through that line, on the goal line, with the QB sneak to get that touchdown that propelled them over the Jags. And whether or not you keep Daniel Jones on your team or not for the next couple of years, it's nice to see that at least while you have him, the kid's going to put in effort. He's going to throw his body on the line. He's going to use the weapons he has. He's not an amazing thrower, and he's shown it, but like at least he's out there. He got 100 rushing yards. He's doing what he needs to do to win football games, and it's good to see that the kid is actually
I
doing
think
something
he's
now.
earned another contract, in my opinion. And you say he's not
See, here's-
ball great, but Hunter, shut
Here's
the fuck up.
here's my thing about Daniel Jones, right? So
He's a
Daniel
receiver.
Jones. Well, yeah, that's 100% true. We're throwing the ball to Richie James this year. Like Richie James was playing better in our system than Kadarius Toney
Darius
was.
Slayton's
But, like,
looked okay though coming back.
Darius Slayton's always been pretty solid for us usually. But
Throwing-
like whenever it comes to Daniel Jones, the only thing that he's got some arm talent. There's some more to be desired out of him reading the field and getting to his reads. But he's good outside of the pocket. He's got pretty good arm talent. He places the ball in some pretty good spots usually when we get into the red zone. It's just that like he's not fumbling like he was last year. Like the fumbles have they've evaporated. He's cleaned his game up. But
So-
he's making good football decisions.
Yeah.
Like, he's
So
making good football.
this is where I chime in. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm a football fan. I love seeing Danny Dimes thrive,
Danny
especially the amount of hate that he has received. But Bailey, I'm going to disagree with you. You said he deserves another contract.
It's Danny Quarters now.
Any quarter.
I'm not sure if he deserves a long-term contract.
I'm not saying that either.
I think he deserves the franchise tag, especially after this year with Brian DeBall. coming out.
No,
Where are you?
no.
I'm a football
No.
fan. That's franchise tag and pay him in the top 15 of the league. Dumb.
Absolutely
Franchise tag's
not.
the
No.
top paid.
Is it top? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm
no.
pretty sure it's the top-
The second franchise
Second?
tag is the top paid.
Oh, okay.
I
This
think
is
the
like the
I think
first one
the
has to
first
be within
franchise
the top,
tag
like,
is like
10% of
the
the-
average between like the top 3 or top 5.
Okay, so he's getting paid 50 million almost. Got it.
Hunter, that was the
No.
dumbest thing you
Okay.
said today. Besides, you like Jordan.
Okay, now listen. So here's what I think we're going to do
franchise
with Daniel.
tag Kenny Pickett. Let's go.
No, I think we're going to put Daniel Jones. I think we're going to give him like a 2-year prove-it deal. Like if he'll sign back with us for like 22 million a year,
You're gonna
for
have to
a
give him at
2-year
least.
prove-it
You're gonna
deal.
probably give him 35.
I'm aware, but like if he really wants, if he can really evaluate his game and get behind the concept of Brian Dable selling, he can come on a 2-year, $22 million a year deal. I think that wouldn't be bad for us to find he could be our bridge quarterback, or if he develops way better, be able to lead the offense, maybe he can work for that deal. But I like him as
So,
probably the next
Mr.
bridge quarterback.
Busey, my big thing is, do you think Danny Dimes could win you a Super Bowl?
I think Daniel Dimes is better than Dak Prescott.
I think Daniel Jones took a tremendous step from last year. I hated
I
Danny Dimes. I had some Danny slander last year. I'll say it. But he took this year, he looks so much more confident. Like you said, he's making football decisions. He's not super flashy except for last week, nice flash. Yeah. But he's making smart decisions. And again, we said he has no fucking receivers. He's got none. He's throwing to receiver 3 and 4 right now, and he's on tight end 3 and 4.
Yeah.
He's making things happen. And Dable,
yeah, that is true.
Dog. Dable's a dog.
Let's jump from
on.
one running quarterback to a different running quarterback.
Let's
talk about the Ravens and how they have fallen apart.
Not
The Ravens
tonight.
offense started out hot. Well,
ever since they played those football giants, they just
even now, Lamar is not having a great game. He's having a pretty solid game, but he's not having a great game. Like, this offense has kind of fallen apart. That offense was clicking at the start of the year. Lamar was throwing for crazy stats. He was running the ball a lot, but now it's slowed down. He's not running the ball as much, and his passing seems to have been hurt by that.
Can I ask you though? I mean, he is playing pretty good this year, and what the trend that I see with Lamar is he's clutch. And I hate to say that with him being so young, but last year he had the most comeback wins of any QB against the Raiders. Remember, he came back 24 points to win. It always seemed like he's like Gabe Davis as a quarterback. He'll have 16 to 15 average games, but it's those 2, 3, or 4 games that he puts up those huge numbers that drives his stock way up. I still think Lamar's a great quarterback. I would like him. I think their receiving core is trash right now. I think Mark Andrews isn't helping him as much as he did last year. And they need that. The offensive coordinator, they need to run the ball more. And I'm not talking Lamar.
Well, Mark Andrews got hurt this game.
Yeah,
so
he's out right
another
now.
factor in that.
Isaiah Likely.
Let's have a quick question right here. We only have like a minute on this, but does Lamar get a big boy extension at the end of this year?
No.
Yes.
No, because the Browns fucked the market. The Ravens don't have the money to give him because they had a contract. They had a contract, but Lamar's like, I want it fully guaranteed or somewhere close to that. And the Ravens were like,
it's
sorry,
tactics.
we can't do that.
It's tactics.
We can't do that. And now Lamar and Joe
I disagree.
Burrow
I think the Ravens will re-sign Lamar.
I don't think
the Ravens want to re-sign Lamar, but Lamar is too greedy, and I think that's where
you
have any
see
Lamar.
Either. Yeah, he doesn't have masseuses either.
He doesn't have masseuses.
That's a big driving factor.
Well, I mean, if you want a fully guaranteed contract, all you need is a few masseuses. I think we should put this into NFL law. Let's go right here. Come on.
Required must sexually assault or harass 25 masseuses. That's how
allegedly.
It was not proven in a court of law.
I don't think you cannot sign Lamar. If you're the Ravens, you have to throw the sink.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that he's the greatest.
Can they afford the sink though? Do they have the sink?
No, I don't think they can. I personally, but
I don't think they physically have the sink.
I don't think so either. But I think they have to throw whatever drain that is flowing water in their house at him.
What makes you think they don't have that?
Bailey,
they don't have any practically star fucking person on offense.
It's not the salary cap.
It's how you look at how the salary is worked. All the guaranteed money for a deal has to be put into escrow before the deal is signed. So with what the Browns did, because we have one of the richest owners in the NFL, was with the fully guaranteed money, like the Bengals ownership can physically not afford to give Joe Burrow the deal that Deshaun Watson got.
Yeah.
So it was a tactic with knowing that quarterbacks are about to get contracts coming up. Some big names, Herbert, Lamar, Burrow, that these guys are now going to want that same level of money. And you saw the same thing with Kyler's when he got re-signed. He wanted more guaranteed money, but the Cardinals ownership did not have enough money, physical cash to set aside to be able to give him more guaranteed money.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We got another thing to talk about here. Justin Fields absolutely clapped the Patriots. Dan, what's going on over there?
Then I don't
Dan-
know. I
Dan, I've
don't
got a
know.
question for you, my guy.
What?
Is Mac Jones Drew Bledsoe?
I hope not. I hope not. I want to see a kid there longer than 2 years, but I don't know what happened. We looked really good on defense the previous 2 weeks against the Lions, against the Browns. And then the first touchdown of the game is a rushing touchdown by Justin Fields on like a little 5-yard scramble, to the left side of the line. Like I just it
I
hurts.
think Bailey Zappi is going to be your next Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
I think that those few games that he started helped his stock. I think you trade him in like a year or two, maybe. I don't know.
The thing is, neither of them are actually really playing that well. If you look at both their stats, like Bailey Zappi had one good game, and all of a sudden Bailey Zappi is in fact Jesus Christ.
I think Mac Jones fits Belichick's system way better.
And the one good game from Bailey Zappi was against a Browns defense that is so fucking atrociously
that didn't
bad.
show
It's
up.
not even
Did he
funny.
start
show
against
up.
the Lions?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But it was all Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. I think he only had one touchdown pass to Jacoby, right?
Something like that. Yeah. No, but I don't know. Just overall, the Patriots quarterback system is just looking awful. Neither of them could throw the football. And, Bailey Zappi still, I get he's a rookie. He's going to have his picks. But, when you can't throw the football accurately, he's throwing 50%. Like, it's tough.
Now,
Yeah.
I can have text to prove it. I am a huge Justin Fields fan, and it felt good to watch him play that game.
Well, I agree with you because you saw flashes of what people thought he was going to be in the NFL. But my question to the Patriots is, Bill Belichick has always been a defensive coach. But you saw in that game, 2 minutes left in the first half, they get a sack on Justin Fields, get him to 3rd and long, almost out of field goal range. And then what happens? He scrambles for 20 yards and gets out of bounds. Like that's Bill Belichick defense that you don't see.
I think the problem is his kid is still calling defensive plays. It's just what it is. He's letting the Steve Belichick,
Bruce, you kind of look like him.
A little bit.
All right, thanks.
A little bit. But no, the thing is, like he wasn't very good last year. He struggled making calls. You have to I guess you can let him call some more games, but like if he's going to continue to struggle week in and week out and not be elite like his dad was, you got to move on to someone else. Other coaches are getting replaced, left and right, for not being good. So maybe give them the end of the season, but I mean, I'd move on, try to look for a better DC.
I think this week with the whole Mac Jones kind of reaffirming as a starter, I think the Patriots get back on track.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Bailey, let's jump into your bets. What trash picks do you have this week?
Trash picks, I've been pretty good. So,
well, I don't know. You did take the under for Iowa, and then they gave up 54 points.
That one was.
You did explicitly say when was the last time you saw Iowa give up more than 49 points?
Did you see?
And then it literally happened.
That was the first time Iowa has given up 52 points since like 1993 or something like that. That was dog shit. I'll smell it. The picks I got this week. The Broncos get right game. I think as cringe as Russell Wilson is, I think
in London,
I think he's gonna have an okay game. As cringe as his flight was, if I'm his teammates, I'd be a little weirded out. They have them sitting at +2.5 at -120. They're playing Jacksonville. I kind of want to push -2.5 for the Broncos. I like it. I like it a lot. Travis Etienne coming off a big game. I'm actually going to take his under on the rushing yards. The Broncos defense has been a graveyard for anyone who trespasses. They've made for some awful primetime games.
Yeah, they have.
It's just and they keep putting them on primetime. So
that's field goal fest. Come on.
Field goal fest. The next one I got is Dak +2 tutties against the Bears. I know this Bears defense just had a really nice game. Jaquan Brisker, Penn State boy, getting the interception.
Now, are these 2 all-time touchdowns or passing touchdowns?
2 total touchdowns.
Okay.
I think Dak gets right. I think we all kind of foresaw Dak Prescott kind of having a poop game, trying to get back into basics. I think he bounces back this game against the Bears. Next is the shit fest that is going to be Carolina versus the Falcons. Both teams have noticeably bad defenses. That is minus J.C. Horn and A.J. Terrell on both sides. They have 2 young QBs, Marcus Mariota and P.J. Walker, squaring off. I really like the over in that game. I really do. It's over at 41.5. So I'll take that 42. I like the over in that game a lot. I think it's gonna be a lot of scoring, a lot of running. Dolphins are minus.
Did you just call Marcus Mariota a young quarterback?
Okay, he's 28. That's young to some people. Okay, calm down. Little buddy. Okay, Big Ben at 28 couldn't run a 40-yard dash under 6 seconds. Calm down. Okay. The Dolphins are minus 3.5 against the Lions, which I know Tua's still mentally challenged and probably thinks that he's a kindergartner still. But minus 3.5 kind of looks a little sus. This could be a trap. But Tua looked real good against the Steelers, very accurate, pushing the ball down the field up until halftime when the Steelers said, we're going to somehow play okay. Minus 6.5 for the Dolphins against the Lions is plus 115 right now. I find that to be some really good value. I just don't think the Lions can hang with them. The Lions are in total collapse right now. They've lost any identity. There's calling for Dan Campbell's head. You know, anybody watched Hard Knocks thought Dan Campbell was going to be the heart and soul of this team, and now they're calling for his head. So
they fell apart quick. They
Yeah.
fell apart quick.
they went from the top defense in the first 4 weeks to they struggled to put up 20 points over the past 3 weeks. It's not looked good for them. I feel bad for Dan Campbell because he's a great guy. Next game is the Patriots and Jets. I'm actually going to take the under here. Sorry to say it. But there's 2 DBs, star DBs, squaring off right now. One's not really a star. He's not well known. Josh Jones. He got the start in week 5 and 6, and he had back-to-back picks. And since then, he has been absolutely locked down. Held Darnell Mooney to only 32 yards. Josh Jones looks good. He really does. And in Sauce, don't start Jacoby Myers. That's all I'm saying. Sauce looks really good. He's locked down some really good people. Held Cortland Sutton to 3 catches on 9 targets for only 39 yards. And he held Romeo Doubs catchless.
I don't know if you know this, Bailey. Has Sauce given up a touchdown yet, or is he still on his?
He has
drive
not
on-
given up a touchdown. Technically, he did in week 1, but the NFL went back into it and they credited the defensive linebacker with giving up the touchdown. He has not given up a touchdown yet.
Okay, so he's still continuing his
He'll
college
continue in
career.
his streak. He has been locked down. I thought he was going to get to the NFL. I'm like, that's another great college cornerback. He's going to get torched somewhere. He's locked down. Next one
Rest
is
in
Mr.
peace,
Boosie.
Buddha.
Next one's for Mr. Boosie. Give me the Giants money line and feed me the over in the Seahawks. The Seahawks have the absolute worst passing defense in the league right now. And that even shows in their scores the past few weeks. They've hit in the over 3 out of 3 times in the past few weeks. They've given up 30 points almost 5 times this season. So I think Danny Quarters might become Danny Dollar Bills after this week.
Oh, so he's going to go Money Manziel?
Oh, Money Manziel. He might hold up a rack to his ear. I don't know. I love the over in that game. And Daniel Jones, I think, is going to have a fantastic game. So those are my picks for right now this week.
Okay. You got any college football picks?
We talked about TCU. I like TCU. College football picks. I'm going to have to give Ohio State minus 7.5. I think it's pretty easy. That's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Rollage. We appreciate your
Yes, sir.
absolute garbage insight on a weekly basis.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, for our pick'ems, we all had the Ravens this week. The Ravens are winning right now, so it looks like we're all going to get that correct. But jump into the first game of the Sunday. We got the London game. Broncos are playing the Jaguars. What you boys got?
Can I take neither team here? I don't want to take a team.
Can I take a tie?
You could. You
I
could.
If I get a tie, wait. If I guess a tie,
You know,
can I
double
get
the
2
points. Double
for
the
a
points
win?
if you pick a tie.
Yeah.
2
If I
points
guess a
if you
tie,
pick
can I
a
get 2 points?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you lose, you take 2 losses.
No.
No,
No,
okay.
that's crazy. But
No, just one. All right, so are you taking a tie? Is that your?
See, like, I kind of don't hate the tie here. I got to be honest.
I'm going Broncos.
Yeah.
Broncos country, let's ride.
I'll take. You know what? I feel like Russ is maybe going to make something happen this week against the Jaguars defense. That
I
just
mean,
let the
why-
Giants kind of do whatever they want.
Why do you work out for 4 hours on a plane if you're not going to play well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
exactly.
guess so.
You
Yeah, I'll
gotta
go with the
run
Broncos.
run
I'll go with the
high knees.
Broncos with you boys as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the Broncos. I think they got the better kicker, so a little 9-6 action. All right.
All right. So to the next 1 o'clock game, we have the Panthers traveling to the Falcons. I know you guys are going to love this matchup.
This matchup is gonna be a shit show.
I think I'm gonna have to take the Falcons here. I think the Falcons are a little bit more organized. They kind of have their scheme going, and especially there's still a little bit of a revolving door over at Carolina, and I think that like dysfunction will cause them to lose, and I think the Falcons will be able to sneak one out.
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm thinking Falcons. I like PJ Walker, but I don't like the rest of that team.
Exactly.
Geez, 2 in a row. I'm also gonna take the Falcons here. I think Marcus Mariota's gonna put together quite a game this week.
Okay. All right. The next game, we got an NFC East team here. The Cowboys are playing at home against the Bears.
I still think I'm taking the Cowboys.
I'm in the same boat.
Like I thought Justin Fields looked good last week, but I don't think Lightning's going to strike twice.
I don't think this roster can repeat what they did last week. Not 2 weeks.
I
in a
will
row.
agree with you, boys. That is 3 in a row. I will also take Dallas Cowboys.
So
Okay,
I'll go 0-13 this week. All right.
There's another one that I feel like we're all going to be in the same boat here. The Lions are at home against the Miami Dolphins, and I'm taking Miami.
No, I'm taking Miami too. I think.
Oh, so we're all taking the Lions right here, right?
Yeah, facts.
No, I'll take Miami in that matchup as well.
Okay. All right. Your Arizona Cardinals are traveling to Minneapolis to play the Vikings.
I like the Arizona Cardinals in this matchup. They have so much depth at wide receiver. The Vikings do have pretty decent cornerbacks in secondary, but like they now have so much depth at the wide receiver position. I don't think the guys that they have, assembled back there are going to be able to guard that 3 receiver set.
Okay. Who are you taking?
With Robbie
Dan?
in.
I'm actually going to take the Vikings. I like the Vikings this year. I think they've looked super solid all year long. I think they're going to win that NFC North, and I think they're going to continue to steamroll the NFC. I think it's going to continue this week.
I'm conflicted here because my gut is telling me the Vikings, but my brain is telling me the Cardinals. In the end, we're gonna have to trust the gut. I think we're gonna have to go Vikings here.
All right.
Ooh, alrighty.
Okay. The next
I will respectfully disagree.
the next game, we have the Raiders traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints.
Who day?
Who that gonna beat them Saints?
Who they say gonna beat them Saints?
The
gonna
Raiders.
Take
I'm
the Saints in
taking the
this matchup.
Raiders.
You're gonna take the Raiders? Ooh. Daniel?
I've actually liked Andy Dalton with the Saints this year. He's looked good, as good as he can be on that team. And with him starting again this week, I think the Saints have a very good chance. I know Josh Jacobs is going to be a tough one to bring down, especially how explosive he's in, but I still think the Saints are going to be able to sneak one out this week.
Okay.
I'm also going to agree with you, Daniel. I do think the Saints are also going to sneak this game out. The Raiders have been underperforming and not achieving expectations that were set.
It's only Josh Jacobs has been
by
carrying
Adams.
the wins. It's only Josh.
So
Yeah.
I just want to point this out. We picked about the same 4 games, and I do in fact pick about my first 5 to 6 games wrong every week. So welcome to the 0-5 Club, boys.
That's what I was saying. We're all going 0-13.
What? Okay.
All right. So the next game, the Patriots coming off that bad loss are traveling to play the Jets.
Jets. Jets.
With the way the Jets have been playing, the Patriots have been up and down. I think I'm going to go Jets here. Get Johnny some more ice cream.
This is so tough because, the Patriots always had the Jets number. I want to say Patriots because they're my team, but I just think this Jets team is just a little bit better, especially with the quarterbacks being unsure in New England and not really playing really well. So I'm gonna have to take the Jets.
I am also going to take the Jets. I think T-Law is going to sling that rock this week coming up against that Patriots.
You mean the MILF
secondary.
Hunter?
The Milf Hunter, not T-Law.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. We're talking about the Jets. Yeah, I think the MILF Hunter is definitely going to sling the rock against this Jets secondary with what the Giants were able to do to this Jaguar secondary. I feel like
Patriots.
the Jets maybe have a couple.
Jets are playing the Patriots.
Oh, jeez.
You're losing it, Bubs.
I'm getting tired. Sorry, Dan. Edit this all out. I just had an
All
aneurysm.
right.
I just had an
Mr.
aneurysm.
Mr. Brucey, who's your pick this week? Patriots or Jets?
I'm going to take the Jets over the Patriots this week. I think that Zach Wilson has better throwing weapons than Daniel Jones has, and Daniel Jones is able to carve them up for 200 yards in the air. And Zach Wilson is a better thrower of the football, maybe not quite as good a scrambler, so I could probably see Zach Wilson going for 350 and a couple touchdowns against Steve.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The last 1 o'clock game, the Battle of PA.
The Battle
Eagles,
of PA.
Steelers.
Eagles Steelers. Oh no. Daniel, what's your
In-
insight?
in
This
Philadelphia.
second squad. In
In
Philly.
Philadelphia, and I'm taking the Eagles, and I don't think this is going to be a fun game for the Steelers.
It's not. It's not.
I think the Steelers are going to get exposed.
They've been getting exposed.
Yeah, but I think this one's gonna. Yeah, but I think this one's gonna hurt especially bad.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Davis is gonna be an X factor in this game.
Yeah.
I think he himself is gonna put Najee Harris in a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, Najee Harris has 300 rushing yards on the season, so I think everyone's been putting Najee Harris in a bottle.
Yeah. Jalen Warren's been looking so much better. It's not even funny.
I'm also going to take the Philadelphia Eagles in this matchup.
Okay. All right. We're going to jump to the 4 o'clock games now. We have, this is going to be a fun one here, boys. The Colts are at home against the Commanders.
Taking the Commanders. I think they got a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm going with the Commanders.
Yeah. It's too soon to see what the kid's done. You got to take the safe pick.
You can't trust Ellinger yet.
Yeah.
Do I want to be different from you guys? Do I want to say that the offense is going to change? They're just going to have this rookie quarterback hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor for 28 touches.
They haven't done it, so yeah.
They haven't done it this year.
We're going with the Commanders.
Okay. All right. The next 4 o'clock game. This could be a decent one. In Seattle against the New York Football Giants.
This is the only 2 teams over 500 playing this week. They're both over 500.
Yeah.
Hey, all I'm saying is you always have to ask your question when you play against Geno, what Geno Smith is going to come to play today.
What Geno Smith you playing against today?
I gotta say I'm gonna take my football Giants. We're rolling, and we're just looking like we're not gonna stop. Saquon Barkley is looking like he's in the discussion for the best running back in the league this year. Daniel Jones is again playing very well. We have a lot of depth on our defense. Our defensive unit is playing very well. They just had a game-saving tackle against the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. I'm going to take the Giants in this matchup.
I'm also taking the Giants. I think they're too hot right now. You
just got to roll. Just got to roll with it. Come on, JT, join the bus.
And you've bet against them every week, and every week you've been incorrect. I'm just saying.
I bet with them last week, so it's not accurate, Dan.
Oh, okay.
It's a tough one. I am gonna go with the Giants, but I can see the Seahawks winning this game. That's really 50-50 for me.
Yeah. All right.
All right. The next game is the Tennessee Titans traveling to Houston to play Davis Mills.
I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win.
I'm going Titans. I don't like this Texans team.
This isn't the same Davis Mills that there was last year.
Even if Malik Willis plays this week, I'm taking the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titans here as well. I think Derrick Henry is going to do what he does best.
Okay. All right. The last 4 o'clock game, the 49ers are playing the Rams.
I don't know. But I think the 49ers are going to win. The Rams have struggled, and with the addition of CMC, I like the 49ers. I think they're gonna come out that they hit a rough showing against the Chiefs, that high power offense, but the Rams aren't the Chiefs, and the Rams are gonna struggle. They've been struggling all year, so give me the 49ers.
I'll take the 49ers here. I think Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey is too cute of a combo.
I'm going to go the 49ers as well. The Rams have not been playing well. If CMC can get going, which I think he's going to start to find his role in this offense, this is going to be a fun offense to watch. I just don't, again, with Jimmy G, this is not going to be a team that's going to compete for a championship, but I'm going to take the 49ers this week. Okay. The 8 o'clock night game. The Packers are traveling to Orchard Park to play the Buffalo Bills.
Doesn't this feel like a must-win game for the Packers?
It does. I feel like the Packers are going to make some trade deadline moves. I don't think it's going to happen until after this week, and because of that, we're taking the Bills.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
taking Bills,
I'm
too.
also gonna take the Bills in this matchup, but like I feel like this feels like a must-win game for Aaron Rodgers this week.
It definitely is.
Like-
If they drop to 3-5, they're going to be in a tough spot to try to even if they do make some big acquisitions, they're going to struggle to make the playoffs.
Yeah, because even whenever they bring in those new guys, they still got to learn the system and they still got to get acquainted with everybody. Like it's still going to take more time, and that team
Yeah.
is almost to the point where there's not enough time left in the season to start struggling because you're get ready to start fighting for playoff spots.
All right. The last game we have, Monday Night Football. You have an injured Bengals team without Jamar Chase traveling to Cleveland to play the Browns. We beat the Bengals twice last year. I'm going to ignorantly keep taking the Browns. Give me the Browns.
I also agree with you. I think the Bengals has been hot lately, but I think without Jamar Chase, you're going to see the struggle, and especially it being a division rival. It's always tough to play the Browns,
And we got the Bengals twice last year.
and you're at the Brown Stadium this week, right?
Yeah, at home.
Yeah, that just makes it so much tougher, and that's a hard stadium to kick at, hard stadium to play at. Exactly. So I'm gonna have to take the Browns.
Very hard stadium to kick at.
I'm also going to take the Browns in this matchup. I feel like without Jamar Chase adds that wrinkle that the Bengals offense needs to be explosive, and without that, then Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are able to be covered by most corners in the league. So I'm going to go with the Browns.
And last year, I mean, even if Jamar was playing, Denzel Ward held Jamar to nothing.
Yeah.
In both matchups. So, I mean, it hasn't always played out. I mean, the Browns held Lamar to a pretty bad game again last week. They just weren't able to get the win. But I think without Jamar, this Bengals offense is going to struggle to move the ball at times, and that's going to be the X factor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for staying all the way to the end.
I know it was a little bit of a mess there for a little bit, but this has been the Boys and Balls podcast.
Let's go,
No-
Mr.
no
Boosty
bow?
signing off.
Well, since JT didn't do it,